Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Diekman. I am a business consultant with ProVal Tech. Today, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the purchasing process and procurement process within ConnectWise PSA. Now, even if you are not going to be sending purchase orders from PSA specifically, and a lot of people nowadays do online ordering. Obviously, it makes it a lot easier. There still is actually some benefit to using the system the way it was designed in terms of managing actual flow of the items that you are purchasing. Now, in order for purchasing to be triggered, two things: it needs to be an actual item inside your product catalog. Um, Typically, it's either going to be an inventory or a non-inventory class. Inventory meaning something that we can actually have in stock. The other benefit when it comes to purchasing to make something an inventory item would actually be in regards to tracking serial numbers. So we may want to inventory items in terms of class to be able to track, let's say, serial numbers on workstations that we're purchasing or monitors that we're purchasing, even though we may never actually keep them in stock. But those are going to be the two typical items or typical classes in terms of creating a demand. And now when I'm referring to creating a demand, what that demand is as soon as we attach one of these products from our product catalog to either a sales order, a service ticket, or a project ticket, it's going to create a demand, meaning that that item wants to be purchased. It wants to continue its journey. Now, inventory would be the exception, right? If we have it in stock, it's not going to create a demand. It's going to create the ability for us to pick and ship it, right? So that's where that would fall into. So what we're going to focus in on today is the actual purchasing and why and what we might use that for. So first thing we're going to do is we need to create a demand for a new product, and that's going to flow in here into our purchasing screen. Now, the purchasing approvals could be used if we have a multi-level approval process on purchasing, or potentially products are running through different departments or different people before they're actually purchased. That may be when you want to use purchasing approvals. All things being equal, if you don't have that type of setup and it's really one person who's kind of in charge or one or two people and they communicate, purchasing should be more than enough that you need. So in our purchasing screen, we have a couple items in here that have been created demand, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a new demand in here. So we're going to simply create a new sales order here and pick one of our customers here, hit save, and then we're going to attach a product for this so we can create that demand. Now I'm just going to simply hit the plus icon. Same functions work on a ticket. So if your technicians need an item, they can simply add it to the ticket. We don't have to have a separate board for procurement. They don't have to create a ticket to submit to a procurement team. They can just add it to that, and then the procurement team would see it because it's in that purchasing screen. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to specifically look in this case, just to keep it simple, we're going to look in this case for our non-inventory items. This does bring up a list of all items. We just want to specifically find something that we can play with in here a little bit. So we're going to do, let's see, non-inventory, we'll do test product right here. We're going to attach that. We've got a price already set on there. And if I come back to that purchasing screen and I hit that search button, here's our test product already appeared in there. Now, if I wanted to purchase more, if I needed to change the cost on here, any of this stuff, I do have that ability. Now, at this point, if I come to this sales order and we look at the product setup on here, you'll notice that we do have a tab in here for PO information. So this becomes helpful either on a ticket level or a sales order level, because as soon as I create that purchase order, so let's say I did order it from, let's say, Tech Data or Ingram Micro, and I did it online. Not a big deal, but the benefit to coming in here and creating this purchase order, we're going to choose a vendor. They just simply have to be a vendor in there. We'll choose our test vendor. I create that purchase order now. I've got in a PO status of new, got it all set here, but if I come back to that sales order, here becomes the first kind of benefit, if we will, to actually starting to use the system as it's designed that way. So what would happen is now we actually have PO information on here, right? So anybody can come and say, okay, the PO status is new, we're in an open. If I come onto this purchasing here, so now if we say, okay, great, it's been sent to the vendor, we're now on order. If I save that here, that also updates the information of what we see on here. So now we can see that that's on order, the PO is still open. This can also trigger workflow rules in the back end. Now, the great thing about the purchase process in general is it kind of hovers in this little section right here. So in other words, first thing we have to do is we have to purchase it. Now, this purchase order number 6, if I click on my purchase orders over here, this is where it is. Here we go. Here's our purchase order number 6. If I clicked into this, then this would have all the information. Now, the other pieces are receiving. So in other words, if we had multiple items, maybe we didn't receive them all at once, we could certainly receive them individually by coming here. In this case, we only have one item on that, so I can come in here, I can click my actions, and then I can actually receive the product. So in normal scenario, of course, there may be some lag in time from when we order it till when we receive it, that type of thing. Even if you are sending it to clients, you still technically can use this. You can mark it as a drop ship. It does allow the internal to see that it has been ordered, it was sent, that type of thing. So we're going to hit save and close on here. And now what we can do is when we come back to this sales order, you'll notice that that has actually been updated to close, product status is received. Now, for the most part, this can trigger a status update on a sales order, on a ticket, to let the technician know that your client, their parts have been received, come get them, come pick them up. However, we kind of manage that internally with the actual physical product. The last steps to this, if you will, to complete this product journey is we're going to come over to our product pick and ship. Not picked is going to have to do specifically with inventory items, but with not shipped, what I've done here is you may not find this product class tab. It may be kind of buried over here a little bit. I've just moved that over here. The default is inventory because it does want to pull our products out of inventory. So if we have 10, we've sold 2, we want to put those and take those 2 out. This picking and shipping takes it out of that inventory, right? So we pick it, we ship it, now that inventory is down to 8. So the next person who looks to see what's in that inventory would see that. In this case, because we're keeping it simple, we're just going to look at what we have for that non-inventory. So in here, you'll see that this was the PO that we created. And it's received, so we literally can come in here. We can say, great, let us ship this product. And now it's going to be labeled as a shipped product. Now, the other good thing about looking in here for a second, because this is a common question that happens, if you've had your system for any period of time and you have sold products for any period of time, you may see a bunch of items that start to accumulate in your purchasing screen. You'll also potentially notice that they will also fall under your not shipped. Now, for the non-inventory items, we have another video on this of cleaning that out. You can automatically ship those out, but here's the other piece is that if you don't use the purchasing, these items will continue to add up and add up and add up and add up. So over years and years and years, if you never use it, you could have potentially thousands of items of everything you've ever sold, but never ran through the purchasing process to kind of do that. So that's the other reason, is to kind of keep your system clean so that in the future, if you decide you do want to be using the purchasing and then kind of get a little bit more information and kind of keep that moving, that flow for your technicians and keeping everybody informed on the product journey, it's in your best interest to also kind of stay on top of this and keep this working. Now, at this point, that purchase order, if we came back here, it's no longer going to exist. We would have to go in here and look at closed purchase orders, right? And then we would have seen our 6 purchase orders that we had in there. So this is where, oops, let's do all, because it's under received. So here's our number received, 6. So we have that the status is closed and it's completed its journey. We've kind of taken that through. So procurement doesn't have to be a scary venture, if you will. Like I said in the beginning, it kind of focuses in on the journey right here. We have to purchase the item. It falls onto a purchase order. Then we receive that. And then we pick and we quote unquote shipping it. And shipping it is just kind of completing the life cycle journey within PSA. So these are the high level steps that you can kind of use to start to kick yourself into gear, to start potentially using and leveraging the purchasing system as well as the product catalog in your service flow and in your invoice flow as well. If you'd like to go deeper in and you have more questions, please let us know. We would be happy to help you out and take a look and review your system.